it's Noel, and you're watching Comedy Matters TV with Jeffrey Gurian.
Boom. Hey, so it's Jeffrey Gurian for Comedy Matters TV, and I'm here in the Comedy Matters crib with Noel. How are you, Noel?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm amazing.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad that you're here. Noel is so many things. She's a comedian, and she's an author, and she writes films, and she's an Instagram influencer with almost 1 million followers. How amazing is that?
Thank you.
How long did it take you to get 1 million followers?
Like a year.
That's all?
Yeah.
But your pictures are great. I mean, who shoots most of your stuff?
I usually just use a tripod, but if I'm shooting for a company or, for a magazine, obviously there's, professional photographers. But most of the things I post on the internet are just things that I think of at 1 a.m. when I can't sleep, and then I pull out my phone and I'm like, I'm going to regret posting this later, aren't I? There's a lot of videos that I've been taking.
Really? Yeah. But your followers appreciate it.
Yeah.
Whatever you post. And they're very aesthetic. They're very sexy, but also very aesthetic.
Thank you.
Very artistic.
Thank you, yeah.
It's not just sexy for sexy's sake. They're very artistic, very nice. And you also did Playboy, right? You did the cover of Playboy?
Yeah. I've been on a bunch of different Playboy, Mexico, Netherlands, US. But... no, I was referring to the comedy sketches. That sounded so wrong when I said the 1 a.m. thing. No, the comedy stuff I think about 1 a.m. and post.
I'm fascinated by your story in comedy. Would you tell us that thing about how you were doing stuff at the Comedy Store? David Spade, I think, brought you on stage, right? One night?
Yeah, I was just hanging out. I guess you could call it a groupie?
A comedy groupie?
A comedy groupie.
Yeah, we don't get enough of those.
I was a hardcore groupie, meaning I just had moved to LA, and the only place I wanted to hang out was at the Comedy Store. For some reason, it just felt like family. And I would have a few drinks and think I was funny, or not even try to be funny, just weird things came out of my mouth. And I just hung out with all of the comics, and
they just accepted you.
They accepted me, and they brought me, into the green room, and everyone was like, "Who is this person?" Some people, I think, particularly the women who had worked very hard in their careers to be able to sit back there, did not appreciate that.
Yeah, sure,
understandably. Yeah, I was just like, how you doing? Like, just like hanging out. Like, so what do you have for breakfast? You know what I mean? Just like with these legendary comedians. And then I had DM'd David Spade. How we became friends was I DM'd David Spade randomly, as one does, asking him, hey, do you want to shoot a comedy sketch with me? This being like a legend from SNL. And he said,
had you already been doing some comedy sketches?
Yeah, I'd been doing a lot of comedy sketches that had gotten like 2-3 million views on YouTube, and but the fact that I just casually DM'd him, and then he said yes. It didn't sink in at the time. I was just like, as one is when they're in their mid-20s, and
right. You took it for granted that he would say
yes.
Yeah,
I was just like, oh, cool, okay. And so then we shot some sketches, and I had a lot of fun. And then I started just, continuing to be a groupie at the Comedy Store, and I became really good friends with Don Barris, who closes out the Comedy Store every night at midnight. He still does to this day for like the last 15 years, and in the belly room. And so Don would be like, Noel, like, here, and give me the mic, like, don't say anything. And I would go every night and watch all of the comics for like 3 hours. I had their material memorized. That's how often I was there. And then I had nothing prepared. I would have a few drinks and go on stage with Don, and just he'd give me the mic, and I just like
just improv.
You
never wrote a thing.
I never wrote a thing, and this went on for years, and everyone laughed, and I was like, this is a lot of fun. There was even one time where I went to my friend's show at the Improv, which they're very strict there. It's the Hollywood Improv. It's
sure.
And
But Friedman's place, sure.
yeah, and I'd never been there before, never performed. There was easily like 150 people. It was a packed house. And my friend Ben Glebe like brought me on, and I was like, I have a video from that. I improvised like a fake air guitar and was like saying things and doing things, and I was just like, I was having a blast, but there was no fear. It was just like, this is a lot of fun.
That's amazing that you could do that. And
Yeah.
the audience responded well?
Yeah.
They liked it?
They laughed. They're like, I think it's just when you don't care about if someone likes something or not, they can sense that. And when I got sober, when I quit drinking 2.5 years ago and started doing stand-up sober, it was
all that before was while you were drinking.
Was while I was drinking.
You'd have a few drinks and go up and improv.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And I got sober, which was the best thing I ever did. And when I quit drinking, it was the first time I ever realized, like, oh wow, people write material in advance, and like they have a whole shtick prepared. And so I was having trouble finding my voice, I guess you could say. I was taking it way too seriously. I think sometimes comedians forget. I mean, I'm not grouping everyone into this, but I think sometimes comedians forget why we're doing this, and it's to make people happy and to make people laugh, because the world is a very, crazy place we live in. Like, nothing makes sense. I think, like,
right, it's insane.
Like the comics, I wrote this article for Whalebone magazine, like that comedies, like, we share a laugh at life's tragedies. Like, it's
well, are you a storyteller on stage, or are you a joke teller? Because there's two different forms of delivering comedy.
So
do you consider yourself one or the other?
I have a few stories that are pretty long that are hilarious. So I do tell stories occasionally. I wrote a book of stories that I turned into jokes. My first book, it was called A Very Inappropriate Short Story Book. But I go both ways. It depends on what I feel like doing. I'll go on a rant about something about my big Sicilian family, and
you have a Sicilian family and a Jewish family too, right?
And so I'll go on a rant about them, and then I'll reel it back in for like a funny joke. But all this is to say is that, like, I have a new appreciation for stand-up after getting sober, because I turned 30 and I was sober, and I was like, wow, like, I'm not in my 20s anymore, and you actually have to put work into it.
You have to be a big girl now, right? And you have to write. Do you write now?
Yeah.
Are you writing jokes?
Now I love writing jokes. It's my favorite.
It's the best, right?
Things to do, because I have like a few cups of coffee in the morning, and I get on a sugar buzz. I like and then I just sit there and just like let it all pour out, and it's really cathartic, and it's really fun. And I had this thing, I was so nervous about doing stand-up again sober, and the only thing that recently, like about a year into sobriety, that like clicked for me, my neighbor Maud, she was like, Noel, like, you're getting anxious, this is not fun for you anymore, like, why don't you just text me 1 or 2 things a day that you find hilarious about something that happened to you or about life, to make it fun again. And like, that was like the kindest.
And did it work?
It worked. I started
texting her. And that got you back into the mode of doing stand-up?
Why I do stand-up, and why we all love stand-up comedy, yeah.
Well, I want to say that she's in New York for a few days. Last night we went to a great show at the Ned with Mike Young, and today we're going to be filming something together. She asked me to be in a film that she's doing, right? Tell us.
Yes. Thank you so much for doing it. I'm really excited. It's a Woody Allen-esque, well, an homage to Woody Allen. I don't want to, it'd be very granted.
But what made you ask me?
I asked you because your humor is very similar to his, and you are just a character. You're a hilarious personality. Just talking to you and knowing you're naturally very funny, but you have that quick-paced, witty banter, that New Yorker flair that's so authentic. There's no one else like Jeffrey Gurian.
That's so nice, because Woody was my inspiration, and it meant so much to me that you said you wrote it with me in mind, which is really cool. And I agreed to do it right away, because, as I said, Woody was my inspiration, and he read my earliest material.
Yeah.
He sat with me and read
That's
my
so
stuff,
cool.
which was amazing. And then I have that film, I Am Woody.
Yeah.
So we're going to be filming today in Central Park.
And the film is called A Walk in the Park.
A Walk in the Park, about very unlikely friends. And I want you to see it. When it's done, we're going to put it up so everyone can see it. And I'm just looking forward to doing this with you. It's so great. It's so amazing. Thank you so much.
And I need to grow my spoon. Do they know about the spoon?
The spoon plans. Yeah, she likes my spoons. She likes the balloon soup. She likes everything that I have here. So, and she likes the big pen, right?
Yeah.
The big pen. So
I think
anyway,
people might take me more seriously if I show up to a meeting.
with the big pen.
All right. So what were we
It's
talking
for,
about?
it's for signing big deals, right? So
I'll make them an offer I can't refuse.
they can't refuse. So anyway, that's it. Over and out.
Thank you so much, Jeffrey.
You're so welcome, Noel. I'm so happy to do this with you. Hey guys, thanks for watching Comedy Matters TV. To check out some of our other videos, click on the boxes on either side of me. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Not just for me, but for my parents.